What really hurt the most was watching her get ready for her night. After she put on her sexy lingerie and stockings, I watched as she spent a lot of time putting on makeup and fixing her hair. Then my wife put on a sexy dress that I had never seen before. Then high heels appeared and her entire outfit was unfamiliar to me. I felt betrayal, jealousy, and anger well up deep within me. She did all this for Mark Diamond, her boss, not for me. She was making herself desirable and sexy to another man, outside of our marriage, while I was busting my ass to provide her with a wonderful life and family. All this was incomprehensible. Our sex life was amazing. Jessica was always attentive and never hid anything. She always made me feel loved, so there was no reason not to trust her. After 20 years of marriage, I knew her and never thought that she could cheat on our marriage. Except for that one night a month ago at her company's dinner, when her boss, Mark Diamond, managing partner of the law firm, paid more attention to Jessica than I wanted. And there was a smirk that I caught when he looked at me after dancing with my wife, who gave me a hint. For some reason, I had a bad feeling that was bothering me, and it got much worse when I told Jessica about it the next day. The way she stood up for him and tried to make me feel like I was overreacting confirmed my suspicions. Too many late meetings and missed lunches suddenly register as a red flag that I need to address immediately. The more I thought, the more furious I became. Jessica is Mark's personal assistant. Mark is the managing partner of a prestigious law firm. He is one of those guys who loves to flaunt his success with expensive cars, jewelry, a luxurious lifestyle, and his young trophy wife, Stella. She was a young, 30-year-old, extremely sexy girl for whom he exchanged his ex-wife of 20 years. Mark likes to make jokes at other people's expense, and I remember him making fun of my work on one of our walks. You see, I sell screws and fasteners to large retail stores. It's not a glamorous job, but I made over $200,000 a year, which provided a good living for my family. I gave Jessica everything she wanted and was able to pay for our daughter Sarah's college education. She was now in her second year. We also live in a pleasant community with good friends and a comfortable lifestyle. Of course, I wasn't a power broker and I didn't make $1 million a year like Mark, but we were happy. At least that's what I thought. Anyway, the night he decided to mock my work in front of my wife and others, I was pissed off not only because he was an arrogant asshole, but also because of the way my wife defended him after I was pissed off about being humiliated in front of her and others. So, Johnny, how's it going with the nuts and bolts? It must be fun working at Home Depot every day. When I saw Jessica laughing, my blood boiled and I left without saying a word. To her credit, Jessica came over and asked me what was wrong. When I told her this, she tried to make light of it. "Oh, baby, he's just kidding. He loves to have fun. You shouldn't take everything so personally. Come with me. He's a really good guy." Against my better judgment, I stayed at dinner for the rest of the evening. Looking back, I realize I should have seen the signs. But now I realize I may have missed some red flags. Damn it, I'm not a fool and I wouldn't sit quietly. I can understand other people's attraction to Mark. He's the alpha, the big, strong, good-looking man, the wealthy partner of the firm, the one everyone wants to be around. And Jessica was his closest ally at the firm, his valued and trusted right hand. Everything was going well. It didn't matter that he had a younger, sexier wife. For an asshole like Mark, he wanted it all, and laying claim to someone else's wife was definitely on his list. Well, over the next week I acted quickly to find out if I was crazy or if my intuition was correct. After 6 audio recording devices and 5 video cameras arrived, I began to implement my plan of action. The first video camera was installed in the smoke detector on the ceiling of our bedroom. The next 2 cameras were placed at different angles of the bedroom to capture the full view. I placed the rest in the master bathroom and living room. All of the camcorders had live streaming capability, up to 8K, recording and wireless connectivity to a dedicated computer I set up in the attic, all remotely controlled via a phone app. Besides the video, the audio devices were unique. One of the audio devices was encased in a pen, which I placed next to the kitchen phone, and the other I discreetly placed in her car. I put other standard recording devices in her 3 favorite purses and 1 behind our bed. With this overlay, I should be able to capture at least 90% of her conversations, and any activity in the house. I had a bad feeling about the next week as I got ready to travel on business. As always, Jessica was loving and rocked my world in bed, just like every time I went on a trip. She always started with lots of kisses and sweet talk, telling me how much she loved me and wanted me. Her closeness and love were something I always treasured, and she never let me down. I love you so much, and I love making love to you, honey. With tears in her eyes, she looked at me, smiling, and said, I love you too, baby. You are amazing, and I will love you forever. It was an amazing night, and I felt so close and in love with this woman that I knew there was no way she could be unfaithful, and I almost gave up on my spying plan. Luckily, I left everything as it was and set out on my 2-night trip this week. I wanted to give her enough time in case something happened. We kissed goodbye, and by 6 p.m. I was on my way for the 3-hour drive to the hotel. The trip allowed me to replay the last 6 months of trying to find something else to do. But other than 2 scenes with her boss, that smirk and his attempt to humiliate me, nothing changed, and a smile appeared on my face when I realized that I was being stupid and paranoid. When I finally arrived at the hotel, I checked into my room and turned on my laptop, relaxing on the king-size bed. This took a few minutes, and I checked my email for any work messages and then clicked on the link to the server in my attic to view the last 3 hours. I knew there wouldn't be much to see, but I needed to test the remote access system. I played the video at 3x speed until I saw my wife in the bedroom and then returned it to normal speed to enjoy watching my beautiful, sexy wife making a phone call. What I didn't expect was the phone conversation with Mark an hour after I left. The video camera captured the audio as I watched her lying on the bed, talking to her boss. I could only hear her part of the conversation as I watched and listened to the videotape. Hello, honey. He left, and I'm all alone. Yes, this time for 2 nights. When can you come? Won't your wife ask where you're going? Oh my God, this is great. Can you spend the night with me? I really want to wake up next to you. Oh yes, of course. I'm all yours, baby. Then what time will you be here? Okay, see you soon. I love you, baby. I sat there in shock. We just made the most passionate love. She came at least 4 times and told me that she loved me. Now, an hour later, she invites him to spend the night with her. Who was this woman? How can she love me so much and betray me moments later? Is he coming tonight? For the next hour, I watched my loving wife prepare to meet her lover. Watching her shower, put on sexy lingerie, high heels, and makeup, after spending 30 minutes fixing her hair, was an incredibly painful and erotic sight. I always knew she was a sexual being, and when she dressed like that, she was a vixen. The problem was that she never dressed like that for me. Anger and jealousy raged in my blood when I realized that she was doing all this for Mark and not for her faithful husband. It was all too hard for me to believe. Did Mark really come over tonight, or was it just a misunderstanding? That last question was answered a few minutes later when the doorbell rang, and I saw Mark walk into my house and kiss Jessica deeply in front of the video camera, in real time. I took a close-up of their kiss, which made me throw up for the first time that night. Wow, baby, you look amazing in that dress. I can't wait to rip it off your sexy body and make love to you all night long, he said, looking over at Jessica with a wide smile. The exchange between them made me angry, but that anger turned into incredible pain when I saw her take his hand and lead him into our bedroom. The pain got worse as I watched her undress him, and he stood there with that stupid smile on his face. He was a big man, with a strong body and 6-pack abs. I watched this with jealousy, rage, and anger, but at the same time I was somehow impressed by this asshole. After the second bout of vomiting, I watched and listened to them have sex for the next hour. Obviously, I knew my marriage was over, and I shouldn't have let it bother me, but their conversation was the most painful part of the night. He started the conversation as they lay together in each other's arms. So, your husband is gone for a few nights? Okay. You'll be mine for the next 2 days. I'm so happy you can stay the night, baby. You know, I wanted to wake up next to you for so long. I love being with you, Mark. Yes, I will love taking you over and over again all night long while hubby works his ass. What an idiot. Be good, Mark. I love him, and he is a good person. Then why do you let me have sex with you? Mark, you are the sexiest man I know, and I love our sex. But we are both married, and we should just enjoy the time we have together. It makes sense. You give me more love and affection than my wife or any other woman I have been with. For me, it's more than sex. I just love the way you make me feel, Jessica. This part really hurt because the love he was talking about was supposed to be just for me. But now I realize that she shared her love with another man. I continued to listen and watch as they hugged, kissed, and talked. Does your husband satisfy you as much as I do, Jessica? He's a wonderful lover, but no, he's not like you. You do things to me that I can't explain. I sat there sad, hurt, with a deep sense of loss. I turned off the computer and could no longer listen to this betrayal in my home and bed. After several hours of insomnia and struggling with my anger, I realized that there would be a lot of pain and revenge in my future. When I returned home, everything was fine. Complete love and respect, as if nothing had happened. Jessica greeted me with a big hug and lots of kisses. She acted as usual, as if nothing had happened while I was gone. Instead of the love I had always felt for her, I now felt disgust and shuddered at her kiss. I did a great job as an actor and acted as normal as possible. I collected all the recordings and videos together, made copies to the cloud as a backup, and created an encrypted file on my computer. Over the next 2 weeks, I made sure every second Jessica spent with me counted. I kept her busy and didn't give them any opportunity for quickies or late-night sex. She even asked me when my next trip was planned. They clearly wanted me to leave, and one morning I overheard their conversation while she was driving to work. When will your husband leave town again? I'm not sure, but I'll find out. It's gotta happen soon, baby. Knowing this, I planned the trip for one night to make sure he would come while I was gone. The plan was taking shape. That same evening, while I was watching a movie on TV, my cheating wife asked, "Darling, when is your next trip?" I tried to control my anger and replied, "Honey, are you trying to get rid of me? Do you have a secret lover who comes when I'm not there?" I said in a joking voice. She didn't lose her rhythm and didn't show any signs of guilt. "Do not be silly. I like it when you're home. I hope you don't have to leave, and I'm wondering if your travel has been cut back." "No, sorry, honey. My job still requires me to travel. Yes, I have an evening appointment next Tuesday, and I'll be back sometime on Wednesday." She said in a convincing tone, "I hate it when you leave. I wish you didn't have to travel like that. I miss you so much when you're gone." Then she came over, hugged me, kissed me deeply, and made me feel more love than I can explain. When I realized that she was giving the same love to another man, I wanted to scream and throw her to the floor. But I kept my appearance and continued to work as usual, knowing that next week my plan would be put into action. On Tuesday, I packed up for the trip, and Jessica and I had our last session of lovemaking. After tonight, there will be no more us. She kissed me wonderfully before I left that night, and I wondered if she had seen the sadness in my eyes when I looked at her one last time. I saw her expression change, and I wasn't sure what she was thinking. Instead of leaving town, I returned to my office and parked my car. I then returned to my desk to work late, which was not unusual, and the few people who were there never questioned my arrival. At approximately 7:30, the video camera turned on as Mark entered my house and tenderly kissed my soon-to-be ex-wife again. It was showtime. Disabling video camera using a phone app, I put my cell phone in a drawer because I didn't want the GPS to follow me during my trip. I quietly left the office, went to the trunk of my car, and took out a folding electric bike. The electric motor allowed it to reach speeds of up to 30 miles per hour and a range of up to 50 miles on a single charge. I put on a black hoodie, looked around to make sure no one had noticed, and went on a 12-mile trip back to your home. My idea for the bike was stealth. This allowed me to return home quietly and unnoticed within 20 minutes. I parked my bike behind the house and walked through the back sliding door, which I had set to stay open. Once inside, I stood quietly to make sure I wasn't discovered and listened for sounds coming from the bedroom. After I was sure that they were going to do this and my arrival was not revealed, I went to the closet where I had put the short-barreled shotgun and aluminum bat and carried them into the bedroom. I carefully placed the shotgun along the wall outside the bedroom, picked up the bat, and quietly opened the door to the candlelit room. Because they made so much noise, they didn't hear a sound or see a shadow when I walked the short distance to the bed. I didn't hesitate and delivered a strong blow to the side of his head. The dull sound of metal hitting flesh was drowned out only by the sound of the 250-pound beast hitting the floor. While he was going down to the floor, I grabbed the shotgun and turned on the light. Then Jessica realized what was happening. Looks like stunned and in shock, she screamed, "Oh God, no, please no. This can't be true. Why are you here? You should be away. Why are you with another man in my bed? That's a better question. Now shut the fuck up and pay attention."